So this is for my response to the sister who's criticizing brothers that are trying to follow and sisters that are trying to follow the Quran and the Sunnah with the understanding of the Salaf.
I'm completely 156%, 1 bajillion% against intellectual incest. I'm against any ideology, any person, any leader, any scholar that says that it is wrong, bad, impious to examine other ideas, to even hear them. As a matter of fact, if we want to learn from our history, we will note that that very same method of thinking, that very same message came through loud and clear before every major human disaster, every genocide, every oppressive regime that came to power. All of them came through, and what did they do? They burned books. They banned books. They banned ideas. They banned meetings and debates in order to create this one world ideology.
But sister, we do have one world ideology, the Quran and the Sunnah on the understanding of the Salaf. Anyone who makes statements about Islam outside of the Quran, the Sunnah, and the statements of the Salaf have gone astray. And I never said that. This is what Allah said. Allah said in the Quran, the best speech is the speech of Allah. And the best guidance is the guidance of Muhammad. And Allah also said about Muhammad that in Muhammad you have a perfect example. And Muhammad said about the companions that the best of generations is my generations. And he said that the Muslims, will split into 73 sects, and all of them will be in their hellfire apart from one. Meaning that if you don't worship Allah how the Quran and the Sunnah and the Salaf worshipped Allah, then you're on a path with no proof or no dalil, and that's haram. So if what you're saying is that that basically that we don't have a one world ideology, and that basically everyone is free to understand Islam the way they want to, this is wrong. And like I said before, the Prophet said in Khutbah Haja, what he recited every time he was going to do a talk, and every Jummah and so forth, or whenever he was going to do a presentation, he said that every misguidance meaning you don't have Quran, you don't have Sunnah, and you don't have statements of the Salaf. Every misguidance is a bid'ah, and every bid'ah is in a hellfire. Like he said, 73 sects will be in a fire, except for one, what I and my companions are on today. So if what you're saying is true, sister, that we shouldn't ban books that go against the Quran, the Sunnah, and the way of the Salaf, then you're saying that we should allow people to publish books that say suicide bombing is permissible? Should we allow people to publish and put out books that say that killing innocent women and children is permissible? That you can blow yourself up? That because the government's foreign policy is oppressing your people, then you can kill their innocent people because you can't actually get to that government? Two wrongs don't make a right. So what we should allow, you're basically saying, that subhanAllah, that Islam is like a free press. It's subjective morality. There's no right and no wrong in Islam. It's just your understanding. So we should allow the people who call Aisha a prostitute to publish books and speak out against Aisha. We should allow the people who say that Omar has a disease that can only be cured by drinking the semen of young boys. We should allow them to publish books. We should allow that people who are writing books that say that you shouldn't worship Allah. What you should do is pray to this sheikh and or pray through this sheikh to Allah. We should write books refuting the people that are into, I'm not gonna marry you because you're a Pisces and I'm a Scorpio or whatever, or the people that believe wearing good luck charms. Subhanallah will be handy, sister. What you have to understand is, sister, it's not just about following the Quran and the Sunnah. Because the Quran and Sunnah without the understanding of the Salaf has no use. Why? Let me give you an example. There's a verse in the Quran that says, Allah doesn't burden a soul beyond its scope. So anyone can pick up the Quran and read that verse. Allah doesn't beyond a soul beyond its scope. Now, if you take that verse, you can understand it in many different ways. For example, you could read it and think, okay, I don't need to pray 5 times a day because Allah says, yeah, sorry, yeah, because Allah says, Allah doesn't burden someone beyond their scope. So you can take that verse and you can understand it to mean that I don't need to pray 5 times a day. Why? Because Allah doesn't burden someone beyond their scope. Or you could take that verse to say, I don't need to wear hijab because Allah says He doesn't burden someone beyond their scope. Or you could take it to say, I don't need to grow my beard, I don't need to fast during Ramadan because Allah doesn't, um, burden a soul beyond its scope. But is that the understanding that the Prophet had of that verse? Or that Allah intended? Or that the Salaf understood? No. Because when the Prophet was around and the verse was revealed, what did they didn't understand it to mean that they don't have to wear hijab, because when the verses about hijab came down, it came down straight away and they started, ripping down curtains and so forth and started covering themselves. When the verses about alcohol came down, they stopped drinking straight away. So they knew that verse, but they didn't understand it to mean that, that you don't have to, how can I say, practice the deen. They understood it to mean that Allah hasn't revealed anything that is too hard for you to do in the religion. So, sister, the Quran and the Sunnah, without the understanding of the Salaf, if you take that and you put your own understanding to it, you've created a new religion. Islam is not about what you think or what I think or what he thinks or what she thinks. It's about what Allah intended and what the Prophet intended. And the only way we know that is from the sayings of the Prophet and the sayings of the companions. So at the end of the day, what you're basically trying to say is that Islam is subjective morality. There's no objectively right that this is right or this is halal across the board. If you think it's halal, it's halal. If you think it's haram, it's haram. Or you can think one person can think it's halal and another person can think it's haram, and you're both entitled to that opinion. La 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 la. No. The Quran and the Sunnah and the understanding of the Salaf. It's like you're saying. So basically, someone can say, "Okay, I believe suicide bombing is wrong. No, I believe it's permissible." Okay, you're both right. Okay, I believe Aisha's a prostitute. Oh, I believe she's the best of people and you shouldn't talk about her like that. Oh, you're both right. Oh, I believe you should pray to your sheikh in the grave. Oh, no, I believe it's wrong. Oh, you're both right. I believe Islam in my heart and I don't need to pray 5 times a day or wear hijab or grow my beard or anything. No, I believe you should pray 5 times a day. I believe you should fast. I believe you should grow your beard. Ah, you're both right. You just read the Quran and you just understand it. Hippie, Sufi Islam. That's how you understand it. No, sister. We follow the Quran and the Sunnah with the understanding of the companion. And once you go outside that Quran, Sunnah, and the understanding of the Salaf, you've left the guidance. you've gone astray. I didn't say it. The Prophet said it. Every bid'ah is a misguidance. Sorry, every misguidance is a bid'ah. And every bid'ah is in the hellfire. 73 sects. All of them will be in the hellfire apart from one. That which I and my companions are on today. So sister, subhanallah, Islam is not like democracy. You know? Okay, well, we believe homosexuality is wrong now. Okay, next year we believe it's right. Or if you're in this country, it can be right, and if you're in this country, it's wrong. No. Allah is Al-Hakim. When He says something is wrong, it's wrong. When He says something is right, it's right. SubhanAllah will be hamdi. May Allah guide us to the understanding of the salaf.